Ovation magazine boss Dele Momodu has warned the Redeemed Christian Church of God, saying it might face moral crisis if it supports Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the presidential ambition is alleging nothing. The Punch had earlier reported that the RCCG, headed by Pastor Enoch Adeboye, had created the Office of Directorate of Politics and Governance to engage members willing to be involved in politics and mobilize support for them when required. The announcement led to speculations that the church is gearing to mobilize support for the alleged presidential ambition of Osinbajo, who is one of its pastors. Reacting, RCCG head of media and public relations, Pastor Olaitan Olubiyi, who spoke to Saturday Punch, said the newly created office has nothing to do with the vice president or any person who may have political ambition in 2023. He said the office was to sensitize members towards active politics, and Christians cannot continue to stay off politics. However, Dele Momodu, in a post titled "My Kobo Advice to the Redeemed Christian Church of God (RCCG), warned leaders of the church, saying the easiest way to create trouble in Nigeria today is to attempt to mix religion with politics. He said, "Naturally, I feel that I owe it a duty to tell our church leaders and our church in general the gospel truth and nothing but the truth. In the light of my relationship with the RCCG, this duty is even more imperative and compelling. I believe the leaders of the RCCG have labored so hard to build one of the most formidable churches in the world. Nothing must be done to inadvertently cause a cataclysmic storm in the house of God, and the easiest way to create trouble in Nigeria today is any attempt to mix religion with politics. It goes beyond lighting the blue touch paper. It is like combining some highly combustible ingredients together in a chemical laboratory. It is not just that the effect may not be too pleasant, it is that the results and consequences will be catastrophic, God forbid." As soon as I read the memo establishing a political arm of our church, I realized this was nothing but an invitation to Armageddon. If true, for that reason, at first I assumed the memo was a joke, a fake document that was merely meant to stir the honest nest. So I did not even pay too much attention to it. However, when it started flying in from every direction to my phones, I knew someone had touched the tiger by the tail. I started working the phones to speak to a few contacts who should know about it and be able to confirm the veracity or otherwise of the document. The outcome was a resounding yes. The document had emanated from the church and was accused to by the upper echelons. I asked for what the motives could be or could have been, and the general conspiracy theory was that our church was setting up an extensive network for the obvious presidential ambition of the current vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, although couched in terms which ostensibly suggested that the church wished to support all of its congregation who wished to contest the next general elections and made their aspirations known to the newly formed church department. Personally, that theory didn't gel with me. To the best of my knowledge, Professor Shibajo is not the only member of the church contesting the presidential election, and it was not the church that nominated him as running mate to President Muhammadu Buhari. He got the job primarily because of his closeness to his former principal, the governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also because of his admirable credentials, ability, and capacity. His religion was necessarily a factor because a northern Muslim must perforce speak as southern Christian as his running mate in the current Nigerian climate. That was the only reason religion came into it. I believe it had nothing to do with the fact that he is a senior pastor of the RCCG. Even if the vice president has now decided to bear his own father's name by dropping that of his avuncular godfather, the church will still face a moral crisis if he wishes to jump on the bandwagon by drumming up support for Professor Osinbajo on religious grounds alone for many reasons, such some of which I now highlight. Dele Momodu reminded the RCCJ that Osinbajo is not the only member of the church who might have an ambition for presidency. According to him, he is also a member of the RCCG with his ambition for the 2023 presidency already public. This is as he pointed out that Senator Remi Tinubu is a member of the RCCG who is married to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, a Muslim that has declared his ambition for the 2023 presidency. He said, although Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim, his dear beloved wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is a staunch member of the Redeemed Christian Church of God and one of the leading lights of the church. Asiwaju, her husband, is a frontline presidential aspirant on the platform of APC, just like his godson, the vice president. Even if the RCCG has a preference in Professor Osinbajo, mainly because of his status in the church and his current position in government, I expect the RCCG to pretend a little and behave as if it is not so, not to do what would be tantamount to picking a child out of one's children and say, this is my favorite. It is simply not right or proper for the RCCG to demonstrate such blatant and flagrant partisanship. Now, wow, it tough. Oh. Well, invariably, because he said many things. What's this man's name? Dele Momodu said many things. He's looking at it from the other angle of of with all this explanation he has made. But to me, I don't think I'm seeing it from a different perspective. You can support, after all, when Osinbajo was nominated, they came out, they supported him. You don't even need a special office for that. That is my opinion. Dele Momodu is seeing it from a different angle, which is going to be, like he said, he has said nothing but the truth. But even from another angle, you now begin to see a lot of things. At the end of the day, we know human beings. We know what is even happening in church, even without bringing politics into it. We know what has been happening. How many of them are even trustworthy in the first place? Even the Osinbajo, they cannot even talk. So even if he wants to contest, it's not only Redeem that will really help him, because we have those who call themselves Kaba, who really love him from the northern aspect of it. And the reason why they like him, because it is only the northerners and the people from the Kabas that they really like him, because every other person is saying that you are there, you are not saying anything, even if you don't have power to turn around things, but at least you should be able to talk. He will just be saying something that things that are off the reality that people are faced with. So those ones are just supporting him from the northern part of the country. They are supporting him because he has never made any statement against what is happening. Because every bad thing that is happening under Buhari's government, even that Buhari himself is contributing to, he will tell you that he's loyal to that kind of person. So that is the reason why they even want to support him. So even when they want to support him, definitely they're going to give him condition. If this man, I doubt, even if he has the capacity, he will not be able to do much. Even when he becomes president, peradventure he becomes president and they support him. So what is the essence? What is the guarantee that what is it called? RCCG is thinking that one of your own, all of those pastors, majority of those pastors who do not even have integrity, all those ones, and you now see some people who now want to form, to be part of to be member. You see that everybody wants to go and join the church because they want this, they want it, and before you know, everything will mess up. Why can't you? You can stay on the altar and encourage people to vote, even without being told. If there's one of your own, you know that people have that sympathy, that loyalty, this person is our own. You don't even to tell them, they will do that. But by the time you start bringing a department of politics, forget it. That is just it. That's just it. Forget it. Everything will be turned upside down. You will see. And you see that a lot of people are not deep thinkers. What this man is saying, they will think is a joke. But to me, it's a different thing. But the main thing is my own observation. But you know that some people that they will follow. They don't reason anything. Somebody will just say something. They can't even sit down critically. But it is our daddy Gio don't say this one. Our daddy, what our pastor, my Gio. You know, they are the majority of people are in that, and they cannot sit down and begin to look at things from a different perspective. Now one-way traffic, because God has given them brain, they cannot use it, but they will rely on other people's judgment. Well, good luck to them. Whatever they see, anything they see, they carry. we'll see what happens at the end of the day.